Welcome to the Collective Genius Podcast, the show for real estate investors who are looking to scale.
Welcome into the Collective Genius Podcast, the podcast for real estate investors that are looking to continue to grow and scale their businesses. I have a treat for you this week. Every week we bring you a new member within the Collective Genius, all of the different tiers. Today I bring you a longtime CG Premier member and one of the most entertaining, no pressure, one of the most entertaining members that you will ever meet. The guy always has a smile on his face and he knows how to have fun. There's just, when he's in a crowd, he is the life of the party, even though he doesn't need anything to intoxicate himself. He is just intoxicating all alone. Please welcome in. How's that for an intro? Please welcome in CG Premier member, almost 7 years now, Jacob Mullins. How are you, my friend?
Doing good, brother. Doing good. Happy Tuesday. Life
Yes.
is good.
Yes.
It's a good morning, man.
Yes, sir. Every Tuesday I get a chance to sit down with one of our members and learn more about them. I feel like I know you like a brother, but obviously, we'll learn something new here today, and so will the audience. You've been in this group. I went back and looked. You applied off of referral from another person that we recently had on the show. Andrew Newland is who officially referred you in April of 2019.
Cool, man. Yeah, it was a good time to join. It rocked right on through COVID, and definitely I'm grateful that I was a part of the team for that. And dude, I love Andrew Newland. We were in a different mastermind together, and he had a strong recommendation for you guys, and I'm happy that I joined for sure.
Me too. Who would have thought that your fourth meeting in this group would have been the start of COVID and the shutdown of the world? And obviously things worked out well on the real estate side, but that was your fourth meeting in this group, March of 2020.
It was pretty wild. I remember it like it was yesterday, man. It was pretty wild.
Me too. All right,
Yeah.
so let's give you a proper introduction here. Obviously, a real estate investor. You've transitioned a bit here. You were when you first came to this group, you were in South Carolina. You moved over into North Carolina. So, I want to tell people what it is that you do and where you do it.
Yeah, sure. So I wholesale, I fix and flip, I do some new construction, and I have some rentals. And I'm primarily in Greensboro, North Carolina. Um and there's this section that I kind of focus on. It's called the Triad area of North Carolina. It's treated me good.
There's something about North Carolina. It's the triad, it's the triangle. You got to have a name for all of these kind of metro areas, but your specific one is the triad, which is the Greensboro area.
Greensboro. Yes, sir.
Now, when you first joined this group, you were in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Yep. Little
Now,
Beach.
did you? I remember you making the transition into real estate in North Carolina. When did you make that move from South Carolina?
So we moved here like 2.5 years ago. The schools out here were really, really good. Not that Myrtle Beach has bad schools, but we felt really drawn to this area. My wife had family out here. It just made sense to make the move. And real estate is, in Myrtle Beach, there's just like a small little area you can kind of tap into, and the prices have just got really, really crazy. And in Greensboro, it just seemed like there was a lot of opportunities, so it made sense to move over here. That would, the good schools, my wife's family and all that, just made sense to do the move.
Family, it seems like a more of a family-friendly city versus a
It
tourist
is.
city.
It is.
Schools, I mean, all the things that you just mentioned there sounds like a perfect reason to move. And, a lot of people that know you or are just getting to know you when they come in the Collective Genius, they see this guy always smiling, always positive, always fun, never afraid to go out and have some fun. But I don't think most people, until they get to know you, realize the type of father you are. That's such an important
Yeah.
piece of your life. And to me, you're one of the
It is.
best dads that I get a chance to talk to every
Oh,
single meeting. Where did that
yeah.
come from, Jacob?
Oh man, I just got a really good wife. I love life. I've been blessed like my whole life, man. I'm telling you, I've just lived a really, really good life. And my core is my wife. My wife is just, she's amazing, smoking hot Bulgarian. I'm married way up, dude. She's really, really good, and I just love my kids, and I always knew that, I just family first, obviously God and family,
Yeah.
it's super, super important for me, but I just wanna be the best dad that I could be. I wanna be the best husband I could be, and, the money is good, everything is awesome, but, if you can do that, that's what really matters long term. The money comes, money goes. But if you can be, you really put your time in your family, it's awesome, man. I remember talking to my girls this morning and I was like, girls, I really love hanging out with you. You're freaking awesome, and my wife too, it's just like my wife is my best friend. I love my kids. I got little James, a little boy. He's a 1 year old. He's just little fucking, oh, sorry, little honey badger. But he's he's a good little dude. And I just, I love my kids. This is very, very important for me, man. That's why I do what I do.
Uh,
That's what motivates me.
I love it. There's a couple things there. Number one is it's always, I love being around men and just people in general that celebrate their partner versus, when we were growing up as kids, you heard a lot of people, talking about their ball and chain. And,
Yeah.
it's always great to be around people that celebrate their partners and celebrate the kids and their life in general. And like you said, we do this for them, but at the end of the day,
Sure.
the money comes and goes.
Bro.
Hopefully, our true why. There are a few people, man. You know how it is. Those first
Yeah.
times that you came into CG, I'm sure you saw people say, "My why is my family," and then you would see the things that they would do on a daily basis. You go, I'm not sure about that. Maybe
Yeah.
will be your why in the future, but currently, what I'm looking at here, that's what I love about the Collective Genius. You have a very mature audience or very mature membership base that is doing this to grow legacy beyond just wealth. This is for family. This is for being able to spend the time. I heard Bob Odenkirk is an actor the actor from Better Call Saul, also in Breaking Bad, pretty famous comedian and actor. And I saw an interview with him recently, and he said they asked him, he said, "What are you envious of these days?" And he goes, I'm jealous of the people that get to walk through the doors and have kids and changing diapers and taking care of kids. Because we're all going to get to that point where we don't have kids running around the house anymore. And
That's
that's,
right.
to me, the fun part
Yeah, dude,
of the journey.
it's the best, bro. When I come home, this is like a real story, man. I come home, I shut the door. They're like, "Dad, Dad," and then they run and get me. I get like three little hugs, and I'm bringing them in, and I'm kissing them, and it's just, dude, it's the best thing in the history of the world, man.
Yeah, I love that. All right, let's get a little bit more of this story because obviously you've become, someone that understands this business at a high level. Obviously, you understand the why part of it, the family. You've got that balance. How did this real estate journey start? What did you want to do? Was it real estate from day one?
Oh man, I'm like a lot of other people. I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and this was I grew up in Chicago, and I had an uncle that was a big real estate guy. He was an attorney. He owned a real estate company, property management company, lending company, insurance company. He had this whole like global thing where he could just do the whole thing for real estate. And he offered me a job to come and work for him. He was a Jewish dude and super, super knowledgeable, just like, man, I feel like the Jewish people are just so business oriented and super smart. So I had an opportunity to learn from him. He brought me in, worked for him for about 4 years. And he told me, it's like, listen, when you come to work for me, I'm going to pay you $20 a day. I'm not going to pay you anything, but in 4 to 5 years, I'll teach you how to be a millionaire. And he delivered. And I did everything. I was errand boy. I ran here to do this. I looked over projects for him. I was an acquisition guy for him in Atlanta and in Myrtle Beach. And it was really cool that I had an opportunity to have someone in my family that taught me so much. And that's what really started my real estate journey. And then when I went off on my own, it just jumped to a total different level. But I started in like 2006, Leon. So it was a total different market than what we were doing right now. Fortunately, I had my ups, and I say fortunately, but I lost everything, during the crash. So 2008, 2009 happened, got smoked. lost
You
everything
were
I
still
had.
young, right?
Still young. Thank God I didn't have kids at the time.
Yeah.
But it's man, what what a humbling thing, man. There's a lot of people that are new in real estate and they don't understand how tough it was. You think COVID was tough, bro? Dude, COVID was a walk in the park compared to 2008, 2009. I mean, that was a hard time. You like you'd buy something and it would just be impossible to sell it, you know? And that's when I started a property management company. Because I just solved the problem that everybody had. They had all these houses they couldn't get rid of. So I was like, hey, check it out. I'll do a deal no one else will do with you. You put a sign out in the yard, do all your own marketing, whatever you want to do, but let me market it alongside you. And if I get a tenant, you're going to give me 1 month's rent and 10% a month. I did that and I collected some big houses during the crash in Myrtle Beach. And that's how I started my business. That's how I survived.
Was on
And
property
then
management.
that's right. That's right. And then I started going to the auctions and just watching the guys. I'd write down all the information, all the stuff that they bid. I got to know them. I was like, hey, what I would do at the time, because I didn't have any money, I would I'd be like, dude, let me market the deals that you buy. Let me try to sell them to investors. And then I would just like go on like Craigslist, or I would literally like knock on doors around the neighborhood. You could see information of who's like, I mean, there was not like the ready information that's available right now, but you can still pull some information and figure out who the buyers are. And I would do a lot of networking and talk to anybody who's an investor. And I would sell different deals, and being in property management, I managed properties for investors. So I met a lot of people that were doing that. So that's kind of how I got started, man. I just did that and started buying at the auctions. And then, shift comes. I did a mastermind with Dean Graziosi and Matt Larson. That was awesome. Did Tony Robbins. That was awesome. And that's where I met Newland. And then Newland you know, kind of V-lined me over to the Collective Genius, which has been just a really, really great thing in my life, man. I mean, I've got countless friends that like, dude, I love like brothers. They'll be friends the rest of my life. There's just no question. Corey Raymount, Andrew Newland. I mean, just tons. There's so many just people that I love. And what's really, really cool, man, is this. This is like what I think that the value in Collective Genius is like, dude, we're all going through some crazy stuff, right? We like it, and I at some point in time, I think it's hopefully gonna get better. But for some reason, like you make a lot of money, then you get smoked. You make a lot of money, then you get smoked. You make a lot of money, then you get smoked. And when you're down there getting smoked, man, it's good to make a phone call. And I have that like ability to call so many people that are my friends that I've met in the Collective Genius, and then I can just talk through it. I had some accounting problems the other day. I text you like, dude, hey, send me Marcus's number, and I had it on my phone, but I lost this. I don't know what happened. But I called Marcus. He guided me. He talked me out like off a bridge because like, man, I was freaking out. I lost my controller. My controller had a brain aneurysm, bro. And it's just like, so I'm working without numbers for like 6 months, and it's hard to work blind, Leon. It's hard, like you don't plan for your controller that you love and have a good relationship with. It's doing everything for you to have a brain in your aneurysm. And then all of a sudden, so I had to give my CPA firm in, paying the CPA firm, 20 grand a month to do all my books. 'Cause I have so many companies. I got like 281 rentals. I'm, wholesaling, 10 to 20 deals, flipping 10 to 20 deals a month. And it's just a lot, bro. New construction, accounting on new construction is crazy, dude. It's like you need somebody in house. I mean, thank God I have a bookkeeper too. But like, man, I think that's like the real value is like when you're down, like all of us are in real estate. It's nice to be able to make a phone call to somebody to help a brother out, man. And sometimes we just gotta talk through it because they've been through it. Somebody's been through it, and there's somebody that specializes in anything, So if you had just anything, like I never did any refinancing and Burr and all that, and then I just got introduced to Renovo, and dude, what a life changer that is, dude. I pulled out a couple million in equity and just use that to buy some premium properties. And it really helped my life. I used Bobby Triplet over there to renovate a couple properties in like far away areas that I normally wouldn't send my teams to. So it just opened up some different opportunities. So, dude, the Collective Genius is really good for that. Really good for that. I mean, not to mention, I mean, dude, the Collective Genius, I think being a part of that, I met Stephanie Betters. Stephanie Betters saved my life, man. This is a fucking crazy. I'm sorry, dude, but I'm very passionate about
I
it.
know you are, and I want you to tell it passionately.
Yeah, yeah, dude. So, I go through some crazy stuff. So January of last year, right? Thank God I'm really good friends with Stephanie Better. She lives in Charlotte. It's about an hour and a half away from me. And she used to be like a heart surgeon or a heart surgeon assistant, right? And she's super smart. Like if you ever talk to Stephanie, she's like crazy smart. She's awesome and crazy loving, and she's just an amazing person. And so I get this scan, just like a normal routine scan, because I have to get. Let me rewind a little bit. So in South Carolina, I had this cardiologist, and he was just doing one thing: get an echocardiogram every single year. Echocardiogram, echocardiogram. Then I moved to Greensboro. I get a new cardiologist. The cardiologist says, "Hey, echocardiogram's great, but I want to do a CT scan along with it, just so we're seeing what we're dealing with." So I moved to uh, to North Carolina, got this new scan, and he calls me in and he's like, "Hey, I got some crazy news for you, man. You have an aneurysm in your ascending aorta, and I had a bicuspid aortic valve. I don't know if no one really know what that is. Basically, it's I got two flaps in my heart valve instead of three, and they dropped all this on me, and they're like, we need to, look at this further. And I sent my results to Stephanie Betters, right? And Stephanie Betters, she called me immediately. She's like, Jacob, you're gonna have to get open heart surgery this year. If you're my husband, which like, I'm giving you my diagnosis. Like, she looked at the whole thing and she's like, you have to have heart surgery this year, open heart surgery. And she not only took her time, explained everything what I have, but she set me up with like her doctor, that her surgeon that she worked with. She got me like expedited me in to get awesome care. The dude took his time. Like, probably, I'm sure he takes time with everybody, but I think I got a little bit more special treatment because I'm really close to Stephanie, and did the surgery April 7th of this year, and it was successful. Thank God I'm healthy now, working out 4 or 5 times a week. But it's a crazy thing to go through. I'm not saying that everybody's gonna save their life by coming to CG, but for me personally, that's my story. Like Stephanie, she really took the time. She set me up like with VIP treatment with her surgeon. And dude, I believe there was like instrumental in saving my life, because it's a lot to take on when you're talking about some crazy life-threatening stuff, because they told me if I did nothing, a year and a half, 2 years, I could just be walking down the street, boom, I'm toast, man, dead.
I
You know,
remember
right?
it like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
This is a conversation. There are at least two members that have been on this pod that have now have these type of stories. I don't know if you are aware of this or not, but you are one of two to have life-changing news given to you by another member. Al Perez,
Yeah, we
um,
talked about it, man. Yeah, that's
same
great.
was diagnosed with cancer, but prior to that, Phil Green said you need to go and see this particular person in your area. I'm scheduling you an appointment right now, and thankfully, with that conversation, it saved his life.
Yeah,
Now,
that's great.
we're not saying this is a commercial for come to CG to save your life, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
just
Doesn't
this
happen
type
that
of
way. Yeah.
relationships that you make within the collective genius with people that this is why I always ask the question out of the gates on this pod of what you wanted to do or what you did before real estate. Because there are a lot of fascinating stories, Stephanie's background with I mean, her whole company's called Left Main for a reason, right? She
Yeah,
was it,
yeah.
heart surgery every single day. You told her I remember her I was sitting next to her when she was texting you about something about her surgeon that she had in Charlotte, and I remember her telling me the story, and I was like, "Hold on. What?
Yeah.
First of all,
Really?
Jacob's young. He's gotta have surgery?" She's like, "Yeah, and he's gotta do it this year, and he's getting ready to do it with the people that
Yeah.
I worked with all these years." And
Yeah,
it's just
scary.
when you're in a group of high achieving people, there's so many great background stories that it's just beyond real estate. And this is another perfect example. I remember just going, man, he's one of the best fathers that I know, and I'm so thankful that this was found so he can be around a long time for us and his kids.
Amen. You
Yeah.
said it, man. You said it.
So, I wanna go back. I know it's hard to go back from, saving somebody's life, but I wanna go back on you mentioned because I this is People are listening to this and go, whoa, whoa, whoa. You just started a property management company? So your uncle's company, they bought in Atlanta and Myrtle Beach. That's how you got to Myrtle Beach.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right. My uncle lived in Myrtle Beach. He ventured off as a second deal into Atlanta,
Okay.
and then he had me as an acquisition guy, and I think over, like, a year and a half, I negotiated and bought for him, like, 100 something houses.
Okay.
Uh, It was crazy. I just
Where
dove right in.
was he holding those houses? Was he flipping those houses? What was he doing with them?
So the plan is, like, it was in the hood of Atlanta. All these houses just got smoked. You could buy them for like 5,000, 10,000, $15,000, and they were all like kind of zone commercial. So the plan was to hold these houses, fix them up, try to sell them if you can, but hold them and then assemble a bunch of them together, plow them down, and then do some commercial.
Okay.
That was like my uncle's vision. But the hood was too thick, man. I mean, we would fix these houses and the timing was bad.
Yeah.
So it was just like
Right.
2008, like, now it just didn't work, but, the hood was too bad, man. I mean, we these crackheads would come in there, we'd put cages on ACs, they'd wiggle in there and take some copper off the ACs, they'd go and break in the house, smash out, like, the walls and take all the wiring, take all the plumbing. I mean, you'd never see anything like it. It was wild, dude.
So
We were buying for, like, 8, $10,000, but that's why,
yeah,
you
I
know?
mean, those type of houses, especially as you're getting into, areas where you're buying at 5 to 10, you're going
That's
to
right.
have security issues. And this is again before all the technology that we have today with cameras and things like that, what we have with flips. So you decide at 2008, you're in Myrtle Beach, the crash happens. Why property management? Obviously, it was a great hustle. But you didn't have experience property management
So
property management?
I saw my uncle do some property management, and what I would do is I would lease his properties for him. So I would just run it out in the paper. Back then, you just ran an ad in the paper,
That's right.
and you like, put some stuff on Craigslist, and you just pre-qualify tenants. And if you felt good about them, you'd put them in. That. So I had some experience doing that for my uncle. So I just went off on my own and started a property management company. It was just Leon. It was hard to sell stuff.
Sure.
You couldn't sell anything. It was just standstill.
You had to have some money coming in, and it made sense, especially as you get into the market starts to heat back up. You start buying your own properties, and
That's
your
right.
your initial strategy was property management. It kind of pays the bills, and I'm going to grow wealth through these rentals.
That's right, rentals and, and flipping obviously too, and I'll tell you what, I started off flipping trailers, dude, because you could buy a trailer for, pretty reasonable, and people at the auction weren't so keen on them. But I remember the first one I bought, I bought it for like 23 or I don't even remember, $23,000, and then I started knocking on everybody's door in that neighborhood, and I got 2 people that had, like, a bidding war. I was asking, like, 59.9 just to see where I would go, and I ended up selling it for that or yeah, like 59.9 or whatever it was. It was a great profit. It was a long time ago, but this is like back in the day. And dude, in Atlanta, back in the day, dude, I was hammering up bandit signs saying we buy houses. We were doing like we had this Pitney Bowes machine that we'd print out letters and then we put it through and it would fold your letter for you and we would just mail out to different banks. Like, dude, Leon, we were doing this before there was like hardly any data, none of the stuff that's available today, none of the cool things that we got introduced with in Collective Genius. It was really cool, man. It was an awesome experience.
If you could have made it, during that time, and you continued through, more than likely you're at a spot now where the business should be easier. Doesn't mean that there's more competition, obviously, because of the more data that's available. You're buying in Myrtle Beach, and eventually, when do you start looking at North Carolina as an option? Obviously, family was in Greensboro, but you started buying in North Carolina before you moved there, correct?
That's right. That's right. So, as I was telling you before, like Myrtle Beach is very, very small. So we would go to visit Emmy's family, and I would just look around. I'm like, damn, dude, this looks like a nice place to buy. It's so big. There's so many different areas that you can buy that are within 20 minutes from like this hub area. And so I'd say what is like 7 years ago, I just started buying out there and it just made sense. And the workers are better out there too. Myrtle Beach, we get the washed up contractors that they don't want to work, man. They just
Well, it's
want to
beach
hang out.
community. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just
Different
tougher to get.
vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, different vibe. So, but yeah, that's what I started doing here. And I'll tell you, Leon, if anything, like, what's made me really, really successful, dude, I'm not even there's way smarter guys in CG than me, man, but I just bought and held during some really good times, and then it's funny, like, I've been doing this, like, 20 years, just, started in 2006, so it's amazing that a dummy like me can be as successful as I am just by holding properties for 20 years,
Holding
like, I
properties and that you're not giving yourself enough credit. I mean,
well, you
you've
know
also you had to battle through, as you were saying earlier, those smoked times. You had to not only, you didn't go off and sell a bunch of those rentals. You held onto them and you hustled your way through those smoked times.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you have to hustle, man. You have to hustle. But it would've been cool if I would've had CG back in the day, that would've really, like, it would've streamlined me and saved me a bunch of, time and energy. Because I look at guys right now, they're just killing it working in the business 3 to 5 years, and, like, me, I've been doing it 20 years,
Yeah.
so
Well,
it's
that's
evolved.
why, you stay in communities like this because there's always someone coming up behind you that is doing something more efficiently, maybe doing something that you've never done before. It gives you that opportunity to learn from the old heads while also learning what newer investors are doing in the marketplace.
Yeah,
You have now been in this group for 7 years. You've learned a lot. You've taken full advantage of a couple different things here. I want to point this out. Number one, you always look at the service providers in the group with the open eyes of, can I use them to help me do my business better and more efficiently? You were just mentioning, the construction aspect of having someone flip in an area that you don't necessarily get into. That's a perfect example of using, construction services that are within the group. In addition to that, you are someone that always is reaching out. Like he wasn't lying earlier when he said, when I need something, I have this tribe that I can go to. You're one of
that's
the
right.
few that reaches out at least once a quarter just to say, hey, I've got this thing going on. And I know if you're doing that with me, I know that you're doing that with those that you're closest with.
That's right.
Currently, out of all the things that you've learned and the connections that you've made, what's working best for you right now? Is there a strategy? Is there something that's working for you that you can share?
God, man, it's just being consistent, Leon. I mean, everything works, direct mail works, TV works, PPC works, PPL works, it all works. It just you gotta be consistent, man. I think that just as long as you're consistent, you're gonna be good, man. That's like the biggest thing. I would say for me, I don't know. TV has been consistent. TV compared to, TV, PBC, PPL, that's where I'm kinda doing my deals.
Okay. What about right now in the current market that we're sitting in here, first quarter of
Yeah.
26? What's a struggle, something that you're working through right now that you're not getting smoked, but something that you're
Yeah.
working through?
No, 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 it's been challenging, Leon. It's definitely been challenging. So, the biggest thing right now is the comps that we pulled last year. I would say that you have to downplay that 10 to 15%. So, you have to buy better and then maybe buy just different. I buy easier maybe, I think that what a deal was maybe 6 months ago, a year ago, it's no longer. Yeah, you can't get that same money today.
That's
Hopefully we have a strong string or a strong spring, and I'm optimistic about that. And something else that I like the number one, I didn't mention this, the number one thing that I plugged in, and this is actually it stemmed from CG. So new construction. New construction, I think is just the best, most scalable way. Like I come from a background of flipping a lot of properties. It is so much more scalable than flipping. It is just so good. You get the lots, you build the houses, and I overcomplicated it. I've been wanting to build new construction for many, many years. And then I got with Stas. You know Stas,
yes,
Uncle Carl's partner?
yes,
And he's a Bulgarian. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Bulgarian dude. He lives in Charlotte. My wife's Bulgarian, so I always love this guy. I actually met him in Bulgaria, which was super cool. But so I met Stas through this group, and he was telling me, he's like, hey, dude, I get these lots, I just hire a builder, and I build a new construction. And then I was like, well, dude, let me come and see, right? Let me come and see. Charlotte's an hour and a half away. Boom, just popped out there. saw his projects, saw what he was doing, saw how easy it was. Stas is by no means like a big construction guy, but he just made it seem so simple that I was like, all right, I can do this. So I just recreated the same thing and I did it in my market. Also, Josh Schwartz, he's a brother, dude.
Yeah.
He every time I'm out there, if I need something, I'm like, dude, let me check out a couple of your floor plans. Like, come on, we'll get some lunch, and then we'll go and just check out some new construction stuff. And it's just, man, that has been so when I say like that is what has been a real game changer for me because I continue to wholesale, I continue to flip, I continue to buy rentals, but plugging in this new construction wheel on the side, and, like, when I say on the side, I mean, that's like 30 to 40 houses a year. So it's like, man, it's just been big,
I
Leah.
love hearing that. The
Yeah,
piece of that I want to make sure we highlight is you just referenced two people that are close to you, an hour and a half, that
that's
both
right.
do new construction that you're able to reach out to for blueprints. You're able to reach out to just go see what they're
Yeah.
doing.
Dude, Stephanie too, she's been like
She's in
crazy, bro.
Charlotte as well. Exactly.
In Charlotte, and Big Mike Moulton. Is Big Mike Moulton still part of the group?
Yeah, so he's also yeah, there's another one in Charlotte. It's great examples of people that
Yeah.
are, first of all, great human beings that you're referencing there that allow you to be able to come. Hey, just come and I'll show you. Especially for those that are listening to this right now that say, you know what, new construction is something in my market that I've been wanting to get into. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. More than
No,
likely,
dude,
there's
it's
someone
really
within a couple of hours of you that you can go and see that's in this group.
it is so simple. It just blew my mind. A lot of people overthink it because, like build houses. I don't know if I could do that. That sounds like a lot, but it's just like when you just keep that going along beside your regular business. Because if you're wholesaling, if you're flipping, you naturally get leads for vacant land that I was just selling to builders, right? I was selling it to builders, marking it up, 5, 10 grand instead of building it and making, double, triple plus that.
So I would ask you what you're most excited for here in 26, but it sounds like new construction.
Yeah, it's new construction. I made a transition on my portfolio too, so I've been buying some really, like, nicer houses, and, I've always bought commercial buildings, but commercial buildings, nicer houses, uh, I'm kind of excited about that. I think that's gonna be a good thing for me.
So commercial in 2026 is the next step.
I know I've been doing commercial the whole time that I've been doing this. I own a bunch of commercial real estate.
Okay. All right. So, but you haven't been buying it consistently. Is that what you're saying? That in
I
26
have.
you have.
I have been buying it consistently.
Very
I
well
think a lot
said
of
there.
promotes are coming due. A lot yeah. I do, I buy everything consistently. Yeah, and I've been holding and buying and, like, it's just like I said, you over 20 years, you look back and you're like, "That was a good move." Yeah, that
Well,
was good.
Jacob, there's so many great things that you've shared here today. I think none more important than the type of quality of a father and husband that you are, that
And
translates into other things that these type of miracles come your way because you do have your priorities straight. That conversation that you have with Stephanie, I don't think happens unless you are someone that is balanced as you are. Not saying that we don't have our trials and tribulations in the business because
yeah,
you'll call me every so often and say, "Hey, I got to figure things out," because you
dude,
hold a lot. And when
yeah,
the market
yeah,
goes down, the active income slows down, and you've got to consider, what to do with the holds. But I think everything happens. I know everything happens for a reason, and your blessings are coming to you because you deserve them for sure.
thank you,
If
brother. Appreciate that, man.
course, if people want to follow you or learn more about, what it is that you're doing, what's the best way for them to reach out to you, Jacob?
Oh, Instagram or Facebook, I guess, JCM29577. And then Facebook, just Jacob Mullins out of you probably search me through South Carolina, but yeah, man, they can just do that.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story here. You're one of I truly mean this. I'm not just saying this. You are truly one of the most positive people I've ever been around. You always have a smile on your
Dude,
face. And it's been
thanks, brother.
fun to watch you mature from the first day that you came into CG in
Yeah.
2019 to all the way to 2026. Here we are, just a different, same positive person, but definitely a different person when it comes to priorities in life.
Yeah, man, for sure, for sure.
Awesome. Thank you again, Jacob. And thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Collective Genius podcast. If you're interested in learning more about the Collective Genius and how you can be in the room with members like Jacob and have all these great connections that Jacob has made over the last 7 years, the easiest way to do that is go to explorecg.com. There you'll find all the information you need, including our application for one of the tiers. If you're a full-time real estate investor, more than likely we have a community that is right for you. explorecg.com is where you go to get into the room with members like Jacob. Jacob, once again, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Later, Liam. Love you, bro.
Love you back. See ya.
New episodes every week. To learn more, visit explorecg.com, where real estate investors come to scale.